Salieri leads from Gorytus in second, one off the rails. Pelinor's Point is third, Good as Diamonds 4. Cradle of Jazz and Brogan come next, with Northern Trial in seventh. Inside the final 2 furlongs, with Gorytus just in front now of Salieri on the rails. These two have drawn clear of Pelinor's Point. Good as Diamond is fourth. As they race to the final furlong, it's Gorytus with a clear advantage now from Salieri. These two well clear of Good as Diamonds. Going for the line, it's Gorytus with a clear advantage from Salieri in second.
First, Gorytus, second, Salieri, and third, Good as Diamonds.
One to the outside. There were 4 furlongs to go. Next to the rails, the blinkered runner on stage. Next to him, Gorytus. Come down to the halfway stage. Next to the rails on stage, then Gorytus. Then Top of the North, then Proclaim, that's being niggled along. All systems go up on the outside. It's over 3 furlongs to go. On stage, Gorytus, all systems go, Top of the North, Proclaim, closely grouped. 2.5 to go, and Gorytus now smoothly up on the outside of on stage. And all the others are at work. They've got 2 furlongs to go. Gorytus and Willie Carson goes into the drive position. On stage is in second place. Proclaim is third. All systems go on the outside of Top of the North. But with a furlong and a half to go, it's Gorytus in the lead, lengthening his stride, running a bit clean perhaps, but a furlong to go, and it's Gorytus now really coming away from these. Gorytus, always seeing a potential future champion. Gorytus coming right away from Proclaim. Gorytus well clear from Proclaim and on stage, up towards the line. Gorytus wins it handsomely. Gorytus the winner, Proclaim is second, then on stage is third, then Top of the North is fourth, all systems go with fifth. And so the result of this, the Laurent Perry Champagne Stakes, is a win for number 3, Gorytus, owned by Mrs. James P. Mills, trained at West Ilsley by Major Dick Hearn, ridden by Willie Carson, so it's a double for him this afternoon. Second was number 5 on stage, ridden by Greville Starkey. Third was number 4. Second was number 5, Proclaim, ridden by Greville Starkey. Third was number 4 on stage, ridden by Tony Ives. For the record, the 4th horse home was number 6, Top of the North. Last was All Systems Go. Well, we're seeing a particularly very, very good horse.
In a moment now, he pulls it through into his right hand and just shows it to Gorytus. Proclaim is making no headway behind him. On stage, who's run against the best 2-year-olds both in France and England, is positively left standing. And this horse has not really been asked a serious question. Willie Carson just nudging him out with hands and heels, keeps him going. As Graham said, he ran a little bit green when he first hit the front, but he's got this 7 furlongs magnificent.
As handsome does, perhaps an old adage, but he really is very, very handsome indeed. The winner of this Laurent Perrier Champagne Stakes, the head of a potential champion, Gorytus. And don't forget, in the past, back in 1974, this race was won by Grundy. In 75, it was won by Wallow. In 76, it was won by one of the fastest horses in the world, perhaps, J.O. Tobin. So this race certainly produces some top-class horses, and this really is a top-class horse. And John, a really handsome head on him, hasn't he?
Lovely head, and the rest of him matches it.
Unique double. Well, a fascinating race. Good luck to them all. Over to you, John Penny.
Thank you, John. Yes, Gorytus allows the quartet to be installed. The under orders on their way, and Gordian is the first to break. So Gordian, the early leader from Gorytus, tough commander. Leicester quite content to sit in behind the other 3 with Diocese. And so they've run through the first furlong, and it's Gordian who takes them along, being followed on the near side by Tough Commander, on the far side Gorytus, and then comes just in behind them Diocese in 4th place. And so having covered just about the first 2 furlongs, little change in the order, still Greville Starkey on Gordian in the lead, then Tough Commander on the near side, Gorytus on the far side, Diocese the back mark of the quartet. That's the order as they come towards the final half mile back to Graham.
And Greville going to make this a real test, and it's Gordian in the lead from Gorytus in 2nd place. Then comes Tough Commander and Leicester Piggott on Diocese in 4th place, tracking them at this stage. So they've only got just over 3 furlongs to go. Gordian in the lead from Gorytus. Willie Carson just asking him to quicken a little bit. Tough Commander in behind these. Leicester going quite well. Past the bushes now with 2.5 furlongs to go. And next to the rails is Gordian in the lead from Gorytus, who's being asked. Leicester coming on the outside now, switching to deliver his challenger. Got just over a furlong and a half to go. And Gorytus is beaten. Gorytus is beaten. And Willie Carson is looking down. And it's Diocese now that comes through to take it up. It's Diocese on the outside of Gordian. Diocese, Gordian from Tough Commander. And Willie Carson's looking down. the horses in distress, but Dice is going to make a very unique double hit coming away to win the middle park, and the Dewhurst. Dice is storming clear from Gordian. Dice is clear from Gordian and Tough Commander at the line. Dice is in the winner. Gordian is second. Tough Commander is third, and Gorytus is trailing in fourth place. He doesn't seem to be too unsound, but Willie Carson was clearly very, very anxious indeed. But the result, there he is. You can see him coming back. He moved down to post very well. Well, that's going to be a very, very interesting replay to review it, but let's take the result of this sensational William Hill Dewhurst Stakes. A win for number 1, Diocese, owned by Lord Howard de Walden, trained at Newmarket by Henry Cecil, bred by his owner, ridden by Lester Piggott. A second was number 2, Gordian, ridden by Grover Starkey. Third was number 8, Tough Commander, ridden by Steve Cawthon, and Willie Carson on Gorytus. Very, very, very disappointing, but this is going to be a fascinating final 3 furlongs to watch. You can see there that Willie Carson hasn't dismounted off Gorytus, so he doesn't think he's lame, but let's see if we can see what happened. Let's review the final 3 furlongs with John.
Well, a sad sight it makes too, because Gordian had turned this into a real test of stamina. Lester Piggott had held Diocese up. That's the first time in his last 3 races anyway that he hasn't made the running himself. But at this stage you can see Gorytus, 2 or 3 off the rails, is already under pressure and getting nowhere. He can't even go past Tough Commander. And now Willie, in a moment you'll see him look down. There, you see, he looks down. He's felt the horse's action go. He's felt that something's wrong. He just keeps nudging with his hands, but that's all. In a moment he'll have pulled the favourite up right out of our picture. In the meanwhile, Lester too is able to look round. He looks across at Gordian from Diocese's back, and he doesn't see anything to perturb him, because Lord Howard de Walden's colt has won just as Henry Cecil hoped he would, just as he's been going at home. He's won very, very easily indeed. A magnificent performance, worthy of his full brother Chris, if not better. But the sad mystery remains: what happened to Gorytus? Was his blood wrong? Did he strike into himself? What happened? Maybe we'll be able to find out. Maybe it will be one of those mysteries which remain unsolved.
Just waiting for the orders. Started Dick Smalley. All in, he says. There they go for the 1983 2,000 guineas, and Tacorno breaks out quickly. Q8 Tower, on the other hand, and Ptolomeo are both slow. And it's Tacorno making the early running, followed by Lofty. On the near side with the yellow cap, that's Proclaim. Then after these, Gorytus is going stronger. Then Alverton for France. Just after the leaders, in the centre comes Dramalis. And still towards the rear of the field, our Spanish place, one of the outsiders. And last of all, at the end of the second furlong, is Ptolomeo now. They're inside the final 3/4 of a mile, and up front it's still Tacorno and Lofty, followed by, in third place, Proclaim, making their way now to the end of the third furlong. So with just under 5 to go, it's over to Graham Good in the grandstand.
And Gorytus is going well. Willie Carson in the mid-division, Leicester towards the rear at this stage, 4th from the right of the picture, now 3rd from the right, that's Diocese. But they come down towards the halfway stage. The leader is Tacorno, joined by Lofty, with Ravinsky on the outside, Gorytus just in behind these. Then Muscatite going well, Guns of Navarone, all systems go in a challenging position, Lofty as well there. Diocese, that's number 4, Leicester now switched to the outside, and as we change camera angles, that's towards the 3rd from the right of the picture, Q8 Towers going well. They're past the bushes, 2.5 furlongs to go. Lofty has the advantage from Tacorno, with Gorytus throwing down a determined challenge. Dice is coming with a run, Muscatite on the left, Lomond now switched with Pelletary, but it's Gorytus in the lead. Gorytus the leader, from Lofty in second place, Q8 Tower. Dice is beaten, Muscatite is staying on, Lomond finishing very well indeed on the very wide outside, coming inside the final furlong, and Lomond has the advantage from Muscatite. Lomond, Muscatite, Gorytus, with Ptolomeo flying at the finish, but it's Lomond in the lead, from Ptolomeo coming up towards the line, Lomond, Pelletary looking round, Lomond the winner, Ptolomeo second, Muscatite third, a photo for 4 between Gorytus and Q8 Tower, then Lofty, and behind these came Diocese, the Guns of Navarone, all systems go, Tacorno, and last of all, and last by a long way, was Proclaim. And so the result of this, the 2,000 guineas, is a win for number 11, Lomond, owned by Mr. Robert Sangster, trained in Ireland by Vincent O'Brien, ridden by... Gorytus was the second last to go in. They're all installed under orders and they're off, and John French a little bit slowly into his stride. But as they settle down, it's Burslem showing the lead from Electric on the inside, and Burslem now settled. A very, very slow early pace indeed, with Welsh Idol, Caerleon up on the outside, and now Caerleon going on from Welsh Idol. Coming towards the end of the first furlong, and it's Caerleon in the lead from Welsh Idol in second. Then comes Hot Touch third. These are followed by Electric in 4th place. Then Gorytus is 5th, and Burslem 6th, and Prima Voce 7th.
John French comes next, and the back marker is Guns of Navarone. But Pat Edery, not at all satisfied with a very, very slow early pace, is going to make this a test of stamina. He leads on Caerleon in the lead. From in second place, Welsh Idol, then comes Hot Touch. Next to the rails is Electric. Behind Electric is Prima Voce. Up on the outside of Prima Voce races Burslem. On the outer of Burslem is Gorytus. John French is second from last, and last of all is Guns of Navarone. They've got 6 furlongs left to go, with Caerleon in the lead. Caerleon leading from Welsh Idol and Hot Touch, then Electric and Burslem and Gorytus moving sweetly up on the outside. Then Prima Voce, and the back markers are John French and still Guns of Navarone. Just over 4.5 to go. Caerleon in the lead. From in second place, Welsh Idol, then Hot Touch on the outside of Electric, who's being niggled along, then Gorytus on the outside of the group to the left. On the extreme left is now Guns of Navarone, just preceded by John French, and they've got 3.5 furlongs to run in the Benson Hedges Gold Cup, with Caerleon still leading. From Welsh Idol going sweetly up on the outside. Then comes Hot Touch coming with a run. Gorytus trying to improve his position. John French and Lester Piggott make ground on the outside. Burslem looks cooked. They've got 2.5 furlongs to go. Caerleon in the lead from Hot Touch, Gorytus, with John French cruising up on the outside. Then Welsh Idol, then Guns of Navarone, a very wide open race with 1.5 furlongs to go. And it's Caerleon next to the rails being tackled by Hot Touch. Then comes Gorytus and John French and Guns of Navarone. And it's Caerleon next to the rails sticking his neck out. But Hot Touch is challenging again inside the final furlong. It's Caerleon from Hot Touch, Gorytus and John French. Guns of Navarone and Electric. Caerleon just had it by a neck, by half a length, going up towards the line. But Hot Touch is fighting back, going up towards the line. Caerleon in a photo from Hot Touch, and then close to third between Gorytus and John French. Then Electric and Guns of Navarone, a gap to Prima Voce, Burslem, and the back marker last of all was Welsh Idol. And so it looks very much a pillar-to-post victory for number 4, Caerleon, owned by Mr. Robert Sangston, trained in Ireland by Vincent O'Brien, ridden by Pat Edery, giving him his 82nd winner of the season. The outcome is a photograph. Also in that photograph is number 7, Hot Touch, owned by Mr. E.B. Moller, trained at Newmarket by Geoffrey Ragan, ridden by Steve Cawthon. For me, it's also a photograph at third place between John French and Gorytus.
On their bottom all of the way, moves in nice and quietly. Well, for me, this is one of the most excited Waterford Crystal races we've seen. Gorytus is still favoured at 13-8. Adonijah 11-4, Sandhurst Prince 6-1, 8-1 bar those 3. Joe goes in on Shoes. As I was saying, a real cracker of a race is to watch. So why don't we take this chance with Sandhurst Prince going in nice and quietly to join Peter O'Sullivan.
And last year's winner, Sandhurst Prince, the last to be installed. They're under starters' orders and they're away. And No Alcoholic goes straight into the lead. No Alcoholic from Adonijah. Then Sandhurst Prince and Gorytus and Shoes, and Montekin is the back marker. No Alcoholic being joined by Sandhurst Prince now on his inside. Sandhurst Prince disputing it with No Alcoholic. Adonijah comes next, and then comes Shoes, and then Gorytus. Montekin is the back marker. They're racing already down towards the home turn, and last year's winner, Sandhurst Prince, is in the lead. From No Alcoholic in second. Then comes Shoes, then Adonijah, then comes Gorytus, and finally Montekin. Sandhurst Prince blazing the trail from No Alcoholic. Then comes Shoes, then Adonijah, then Gorytus. Behind Gorytus is Montekin as they run down towards the home turn. Willie Carson had a look over his right shoulder there, riding Gorytus. It looked a replica of the Dewhurst to see if something had gone wrong, but it certainly hasn't. He's improving well towards the outside. They're coming down to the 3 furlong pole. Sandhurst Prince being pressed by No Alcoholic. Gorytus coming there strongly on the stand side with Adonijah upsides him. They're coming down to the 2 furlong pole. No Alcoholic, Sandhurst Prince, Gorytus towards the right of the picture. Adonijah just in behind him, and then comes Montekin. They're racing towards the furlong pole in the Waterford Crystal Mile, and it's Sandhurst Prince being pressed by No Alcoholic. Gorytus under pressure. Then comes Montekin and Adonijah. It's Sandhurst Prince from Montekin and No Alcoholic, and Gorytus and Adonijah trying to get on terms. It's Montekin now who's come to take it up as they race into the closing stages. It's Montekin from Sandhurst Prince and Adonijah, and as they come to the line, Adonijah putting in a great run, but Montekin wins it from Adonijah. Montekin is the winner and Adonijah is second. They're the 1-2 in the Waterford Crystal Mile. It's going to be a photo for third, but no doubt about the 1-2. His first triumph since his 2-year-old days for Montekin. It's a photo for third, but the winner, number 3, Montekin, owned by Mr. Peter S. Winfield, trained by John Dunlop and written by Brian Rouse. Second was number 5, Adonijah, owned by Prince Khaled Abdullah, trained by Henry Cecil and written by Lester Piggott. And it's a photograph for third place, with possibly No Alcoholic just achieving third off Sandhurst Prince. These two with Gorytus involved in that photo. A dramatic incident in the race took place before the home turn, where it looked as though Willie felt he looked several times down to his right. At that time, he was upside the winner, whom we're looking at now, Montekin. They were 5th and 6th, respectively. But a marvellous triumph this for Montekin, the first triumph in this race for John Dunlop since he won it in 1974 with Pitcairn, number 40 of the season for Brian Rouse, and what a wonderful race to win as your first race since winning as a 2-year-old. The Waterford Crystal Mile worth $21,269 to the winner. Here he is, the winner. Let's review that incident with Julian Wilson involving Gorytus and the closing stages.
Well, what a dramatic race it was, because they've gone into the bend at a terrific pace. Sandhurst Prince up front, having pulled his way into the lead. Montekin is last at this point with the white sleeves, and keep your eyes on him. Gorytus is right on the outside, but as they come round the bend there, Montekin just comes a little bit off the fence, and No Alcoholic is in the lead, upside. That's where those two horses seem to come together, Adonijah and Gorytus, and quite possibly there, that was what led to Willie looking down to see whether there was anything amiss with his horse. Anyway, Sandhurst Prince is in front here from No Alcoholic. On the outside is Gorytus. Montekin making ground on the inside. And look at Adonijah and Lester Piggott. He's got absolutely nowhere to go. And there's no doubt, in my opinion, that this is a day Lester will want to forget. He can't get out. Perhaps he should have taken back now to go round. But he's hoping a gap's going to come there that's big enough for him to go through. But it's not big enough, because George Duffield's riding with his whip and No Alcoholic. And Montekin has just come off the rails. And Lester, with all these suspensions, doesn't dare go for the gap. So he switches to the inside of Montekin, hopes that that's going to split up. But Greville's still in front on Sandhurst Prince. Montekin's upside him now. Lester's still desperately looking for room, and it's not coming. There goes Adonijah's head through, and now Lester feels he can go. But they're so close to home now that it's too late. Montekin's won on the line from Adonijah second, with a close thing for third.
Yes, it sure is close for third, but as we said, no doubt about this. 8-1 winner. Got a grateful pat there from Brian Rouse. One of the biggest successes of Brian's career, although, of course, he rode a classic winner for John Dunlop. So a great local triumph, this. Trained right here at Arundel, this 4-year-old by Mount Hagen out of Sweet Relations by Skymaster. It's his 10th run of the season.